sitting tall, finding that comfortable seat, allowing the eyes to close softly, and just becoming aware of your body breathing, becoming aware of the breath as it enters your body, becoming aware of your breath as it leaves your body. And just realizing and recognizing that each and every breath is nourishing you and it's nourishing your baby. So if you can, just begin to breathe a little deeper. And again, as we are learning to maneuver in our pregnant state, sometimes the nose is congested, so it's difficult to breathe deeply. So just do the best you can. And so the swelling in the nasal passages kind of mimics what's happening in the body. The pregnant body begins to take on and begins to develop more fluid in the body, doubling the blood volume throughout the course of the pregnancy. So that extra fluid can lead to swelling in the nasal passages and the wrists and the feet and lower legs. And prenatal yoga can help us address and maybe even remedy, or at least alleviate some of those symptoms. And so we're just breathing deeply to the best of our ability. And we'll chant the sound of Om 3 times together. Om is the universal sound of the universe. It permeates everything, everyone. Everything has its own vibration. And the yogi saints determined that Om is the sound of the cosmos, the sound of the universe. And I like it, especially in prenatal yoga, because it's very close to mom. So that that mom, that vibration of mother energy in the body. And your baby can hear you too. So you're chanting for you and your baby. So when you're ready, just gently join your hands together in front of your heart. Exhale a big full breath out and inhale generously for Om. Just releasing the sound of the chant, releasing the hands, and softly opening the eyes. And we'll begin by just doing some neck stretching. So when you're ready, just gently inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the chest, grow a little taller. And as you exhale, turn your head to the left. And then come into center as you inhale, and exhale, turn the head to the right. So let's do that a few times. And just noticing the sensations you might feel in the neck. Keep the shoulders open and soft on the back. And just noticing any tightness or tenderness without any strain, not forcing this movement. And one more time to the left and slowly to the right. And we'll go back to the left side one more time. And breathe here. Draw that right shoulder open and back. And then imagine, if you will, that you could lay your right ear onto your chest. So just gently lengthening the head from that stretch over the right shoulder. And then allow your chin to sweep along the collarbone, coming back into the center of the chest. And inhale, lift the head. Let's do the other side. We'll turn the head to the right and just breathe here. Draw the shoulders open and back, especially that left one. And then pretending that you could lay your left ear right on the center of your chest. If you could just rest your ear on your chest. And then keeping the head in this shape and in this direction, we just allow the chin to sweep across the collarbone and come back into the chest. And we inhale, lift up. Let's do that 2 more times. Turn the head to the left. Gently lower your right ear onto the chest. And then inhale, sweep into center and lift up. Nice. Inhale to center. Gently release, lowering the left ear towards the center of the chest and sweep the chin into center and lift. Last time, turn the head, lower, bringing the ear to the chest, and inhale, sweep to center and lift up. Last time, turn to the right, lower the left ear towards the center of the chest, and inhale, sweep to center and lift up. Nice work. Let's go ahead, open those legs and feet. And this is why you might need lots of blankets. So the body is producing a lot of hormones in pregnancy. Relaxin is one of them. And so we want to make sure that we don't hyperextend through the knees. So you can place blankets or small cushions underneath the back of the knees. Lots of women tend to hyperextend anyway, but we just want to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and keeping joints nice and safe, that we're not overstretching. So let's go ahead and point and flex through your feet a few times, just pointing the toes forward, pointing the toes to the sky. And you can make circles, so just circling the ankles in one direction, circling the ankles in the opposite direction. Good. And just release. You can keep your legs outstretched if that feels good for you, or you can fold them back in, whatever works. I'm going to keep mine extended because it feels pretty good. We're just going to inhale, reach the arms up, inhale. And exhale, a full deep breath out. Deep breath in. Open the mouth, make sound. Do that again. Inhale, deep breath. Releasing the jaw. Good, as you open the throat. This time, let's inhale, reach arms up. And exhale, rest your hands on your shoulders and begin to make shoulder circles. We're going to circle the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So just really opening the chest. And so this movement just stretches the chest muscles. Everything gets heavy. Everything is oriented towards the front of the body, the weight of the breast, the weight of the belly. So this can help, again, kind of open the chest. There might be a tendency to kind of round the shoulders forward. And you might even feel shoulder and upper back and neck pain from the weight in the front of the body. So we just want to create some space and just kind of breathe and move and open and create space. Good. And then let's come into stillness and open those arms out and just gently tapping the shoulders, kind of opening, moving the fluid in the wrists and hands. Good. And then let's bring the hands into center, interlace the fingers, bring the elbows together, and begin to circle through the wrists, sliding the forearms up and down one another. Good. And this is a good kind of movement to think about kind of doing, not only during pregnancy, reverse other direction, but also once your baby arrives, when you're picking up your baby, how important it is to have strong wrists and forearms. So again, that you don't experience carpal tunnel or repetitive stress injury from picking up that baby so many times. Good. So as we inhale, let's go ahead and exhale, release, and shake everything out. Good. And then we're going to remove any sort of cushions or blankets that we have underneath the knees. And bring your hands under your knees and help your legs come into center. Feet are on the floor, hands are behind you. You can have fingertips facing forward or out to the sides or behind you. And we're just gonna windshield wiper those knees. So just letting the knees lower from side to side. It doesn't have to be a deep stretch. We're just kind of warming up the hips Stretching the belly, so keep the chest lifted, shoulders on the back, and just breathing. Let's do 5 more. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and 1. Excellent. Let's go ahead. We'll come on to hands and knees. You may want to have a blanket for your knees. And I'll show a few wrist variations because, again, I had really weird wrist pain when I was pregnant with this one on the sofa. My wrists were numb, and so it was very difficult to be on my hands. So you can come up onto fist, or you can actually walk the hands a little bit forward. And we just begin to move, right? So you can just walk forward and back, making this movement as big as you like, making this movement as quickly as you like, maybe not too quickly to make yourself motion sick. But the knees are open, wider than hip width distance apart. And just think about like stretching across the back of the pelvis. Think about rocking your baby. And think about supporting the weight of your baby by gently hugging your belly button up and into your spine. And then let's take this forward and back action and begin to circle it out. So just circling in one direction and breathing. Deep breath in. And let's reverse and circle in the opposite direction. Deep breath in, open the mouth. Good, and coming into stillness. So in prenatal yoga, when we do that movement of kind of arching the back, we actually don't do the cow position. So again, hugging the baby in. This is your neutral position, kind of like where you stop when we finish with the arcing of the back. So we take a deep breath in and exhale, hug your baby in, around your spine, arching the back, chin to chest. And inhale, come back to just that neutral tabletop position. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. And inhale, come back into neutral. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. And inhale back into neutral. Good. And then from here, rock from side to side. So let the hips kind of sway. Just breathing. And as you're rocking your hips from side to side, maybe you look over the shoulder towards the hip that you're rocking away, right? So just kind of opposite, because my hips move to the left, my head turns to the right, and vice versa. And breathing, breathing, breathing. And slowly coming into center. Let's go ahead and come off of those hands, and you can just kind of shake them out a little bit. This is where if you have blocks or a small stool, we want to place them underneath the shoulders. We'll do some low lunges and maybe some high lunges, depending on how you feel this morning. So your blocks are underneath your hands, or your stool is kind of in the center of the mat. And when you are ready, let's go ahead and step that left foot forward just outside of the block. And we begin to move. So just, again, kind of moving through the hips, lengthening back as you exhale, inhale as you bend the knee. So if you're having any sort of like acid reflux, indigestion, by all means, keep the head up nice and high. If you feel okay, you can bow the head as you reach back. And so we're just breathing and moving. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale, reach back, breathe here. Deep breath in. really extending that exhalation. The extension of the exhalation is where we activate the body's natural relaxation response. So let's go ahead and rebend that knee. We're going to keep the left hand on the block or the stool and just begin to sweep or swim that right arm forward, back, and down. Just making some shoulder circles. And so opening the belly, opening the ribs, opening the chest and shoulder, all on the right side. Breathing, exhaling. And again, just opening up, stretching across the pectoralis muscle. That's your chest muscle, one of the muscles that make up the breast. And then also just stretching across shoulders, the deltoids, as well as in the upper back. And as you inhale, as that hand comes back down, let's place that hand on the block. Bring your left hand onto your thigh. Bring your right hand onto your thigh or onto your belly. And then as you inhale, let's reach those arms forward and up. And exhale, lower them back down. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale, both arms up. This time, cactus the arms. Bend the elbows to 90 degrees, making goalposts with the arms. Keep the chest lifted. We're hugging belly, hugging baby into the spine. So there's lots of good core support there. Just lifting from the breastbone. So feel the chest lifting. Take some of the weight of the chest off the belly. Inhale here. As you exhale, set your hands down, plant and ground the hands into the blocks, lift up that left foot and bring it back. And you can rock a little bit if you'd like, just kind of moving hips forward and back. And then when you are ready, we'll do the other side. So when you're ready, just stepping that right foot forward outside of the block. And same movement here, just waking up the nerves in the back of that right leg. And so one of the great things about yoga is that it's really supportive of moving lymph in the body. And the lymph is the waste product, right? That the blood kind of creates and finds, and so everything's carried by this kind of secondary circulation system. But your lymph doesn't have a heart to pump it. It doesn't have any pumping mechanism other than our movement. So this is a really good thing to do, again, kind of thinking about the swelling in the body. So as we contract those muscles, as we move the body, we're helping to move the lymph out to the lymph nodes. Good. And maybe we breathe, reaching that leg back, taking a breath. Inhaling. Exhaling. 1 more time, deep breath in. And inhaling, bending the knee. When you are ready, we're going to keep that right hand on the block or the stool and sweep that left arm forward, up, and back. There we go. Inhale, forward, up, and back. Keep going. And so just making this movement as smooth and fluid as you can, opening across the chest. One more time, inhale, exhale, and then the next time that hand is down, let's go ahead and place it on the block. We bring the right hand high onto the thigh. Then allow that left hand to either rest on the thigh or on the belly. Hug the belly button into the spine. Let's inhale, reach both arms forward and up, lifting the chest. And exhale, lower both arms down. Do that again. Inhale. And exhale. Once more. Inhale. And exhale. This time, let's inhale, arms up. As you exhale, cactus those arms, bend the elbows, just lifting the chest. You can twinkle your fingers, just kind of waking up fingers a little bit. And we'll inhale here, exhale, hands down. Sweep that right leg back, set your blocks off to the side, coming back onto hands and knees, and moving however it feels good to move. So forward, back, circles, side to side, zigzag, figure eight. Again, it's just about finding ease in your body and realizing that pretty soon, one day in the future, you'll be birthing this baby. And these are all movements you can do in that birthing process to create a little bit of ease as you're making your way into supporting the arrival of your little one into the world. So when you are ready, we're going to come into stillness and make our way up to standing. A couple ways you can do this. We will pass through a down dog, but again, if you have acid reflux, just step a foot forward, then step the other foot forward and come up to standing. Otherwise, if you'd like, curl toes under, lift the knees up. Your feet are open wider than hip width distance apart to create space for your belly. You can keep those knees bent if you'd like. Slide your shoulders down your back. Maybe you straighten your legs. Maybe you gently rock the hips from side to side. And then when you are ready, bend your knees. Take your time, walking hands and feet in towards one another, right? Get the weight centered on your feet. Bring your hands onto your thighs. Hug baby in towards you. Take your time as you slowly lift up. Nice. So if you have a blanket on your mat, let's move it off to the side. We'll move through a couple standing poses and a balancing asana for the day. So let's just start by finding ourselves in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are about hip width distance apart. Feet are parallel. So depending on how big you are, you may not be able to see your feet. So you can move hips back, look at your feet, put them in parallel, and then stand up nice and tall. Hug baby up and in towards you. Maybe you bring a hand to the back of the pelvis near the tailbone and a hand right underneath baby. And just breathe, just playing with a few rounds of pelvic tilts. And just allow yourself to hug baby up and in towards you and lengthen the tailbone down. So when we were on hands and knees, this was kind of like when we were exploring a little bit with the cat, but now it's just in the lower half of the body. So hugging tailbone in and release. Good. This is a really good exercise also to kind of tone and strengthen the muscles of the pelvic floor. You can do this during pregnancy, after pregnancy and postpartum, and throughout your entire life, right? Muscles of the pelvic floor support the organs of the pelvis. So not just the uterus and ovaries and fallopian tubes, but also the bladder, right? And so we want to think about how we can strengthen and tone those muscles. So sometimes women will have incontinence because these muscles are weak. So the same muscles that you use to control the flow of urine, those are the muscles we want to engage, right? Just a slight little lift and release. Slight little lift and release. Okay, let's do that one more time. And release. Excellent. Lengthen the arms. Hug baby in. Lift the chest. Roll shoulders open and back. Good. This is your mountain pose. Standing tall. Standing in your power. And just feeling your body, maybe feeling your baby inside of you. Just thinking of the ways in which you're supporting yourself and supporting your baby during this time. And maybe considering the ways in which you can seek to have more support. Sometimes as women, it's really difficult to ask for support because we take on so much. But this would be a great time to practice asking for one thing today. So let's go ahead and Release the hands, shake that out, let it go. And then open your feet pretty wide apart. So typically we think about wrist over ankles, but if that feels too wide for you, you don't feel like you have good control, walk the feet in a little bit towards each other. And we're gonna keep the right foot as it is, facing forward towards the side of the mat. And let's turn those left toes in towards the top of the mat. And just begin to bend into that front leg's knee and straighten the leg. And we'll play with arms a little bit. So previously when we've done this movement, we're just lifting the arms up. So as you inhale and exhale. And so that's a good option, right? To just breathe there and be there. I would like to invite you to maybe try something a little different with the arms. So we're gonna inhale and bring the arms together and open. So we inhale, bring together and open. So just creating a little bit of a chest press and a chest stretch, right? Let's do that 2 more times. Good, 1 more. And release. Good, keep bending into that front leg's knee. So just creating lots of space there. The back arm is going to rest either lightly on that back leg, or if I want a little bit more of a shoulder stretch, I can bend the elbow and wrap that arm kind of behind me. You can maybe see my fingers pointing, like tickling myself right there on my left side. And we're gonna sweep this left arm up. Good. So just finding a peaceful warrior, right? Just a reverse warrior. Good. And if you have that right arm resting on the thigh, it's just a feather touch, right? We'll do this 2 more times. And release the arms. Keep bending into that left knee. When you're ready, let's rest that forearm on top of the thigh. So you get a little bit of a side body opening. So we just rest the forearm and lengthen. Good. This time, let's rest that forearm and stay there and sweep the right arm forward and back. We've done this a few times already. So opening across the chest, maybe following your hand with your gaze, like making a circle with your nose. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Good. This time that arm pulls you up to stand, and you release. Turn those left toes to face in the same direction as the right. Heel toe your feet in towards each other and circle through those hips. I found a really fun video. I posted it on my Facebook page, Yoga with Chanda, of this super pregnant woman belly dancing. It is so awesome because she's huge. And she looks like she's a professional belly dancer because she's definitely moving. And she's just got on this sparkly bra top and this flowy skirt. And she's doing all of her belly dancing moves. And I was like, wow, that is so beautiful, so sensual. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that belly dancing kind of evolved and came into being as women were supporting each other. They would belly dance, right? To encourage that birthing mama to relax those belly muscles. So feel free to watch that video and maybe you feel inspired to just kind of move some wave energy in your body. I'm sure your baby will like it, right? So let's go ahead. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So opening those feet nice and wide. This time we're going to turn those right toes out and just begin to bend in that right knee. Good. And you know, I think social media can be really great, especially during pregnancy, especially given everything that's happening. You don't necessarily have all the opportunities that you would if we weren't sheltering in place, depending on where you are and things weren't closed. But just to look at videos of birthing moms and pictures of babies being born, to just really begin to invoke that element of like courageousness and powerfulness, so that you can really just feel how those images can be embodied in your own body, again, as we prepare for birth, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to find our way in our warrior two, right? So we start here. And so you have that option again to just kind of close the arms in front of the chest. But I'd like to invite you to maybe try an eagle pose. So you just bring one arm on top of the other, wrap the forearms, maybe palms touch, lift elbows from the chest, and release. Good. So you have to kind of remember which arm is on top. And it means that you're going to be in your warrior legs for a little bit longer, so you can wrap the arms. So we'll just do a few on this side. Maybe one more with each arm on top. So right, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Good, and then just release those arms. Nice work. Good job. So this back arm, feather touch on the back leg, or maybe you rest the forearm on the low back. And as we inhale, bending that knee, reaching arm up. And depending on what stage you are in your pregnancy, you didn't mention any round ligament pain, but you don't have to bend the knee, right? You can keep that leg straight if that feels best. Let's do that one more time. Good. And then we release the arms, keep bending into that knee. So again, this movement is helping to kind of pump the blood and lymph and water up back to the heart for the blood, to the lymph nodes for the lymph. Forearm on top of the thigh, and we straighten. It's a little side opening, and we lengthen. And then we pause, resting that forearm on top of the thigh, and sweep that left arm forward, up, and back. Good. Looking good. Good. And let's inhale, come all the way up. Straighten the leg, heel toe, feet in, circle through your hips. Maybe find your inner belly dancer. You can jiggle your hips, just let everything go, right? Again, kind of in this culture, lots of emphasis on tight abs, tight butt, right? Tight thighs, but we want to be soft. We want to be free. We want to be open, spacious, just letting all energy just kind of flow through you. Good. So just let it jiggle. I have a hard time with letting it jiggle, so I'm talking to myself too. So go ahead, let that all go. Come back into center and breathe. So I want to invite you to drink water. I didn't say that at the beginning, but you're always more than welcome to drink water, eat a snack, go potty, all the things. Prenatal yoga is kind of like yoga of the Wild Wild West. You get to do all the things that you typically don't do in a non-prenatal yoga class. So we're going to prepare ourselves for squat. And so this is where, if you have those blocks, small stool, small chair, you want to go ahead and grab them. I'm going to take my 2 blocks and turn them large face down on my mat so that I can land on them. My feet are forward of the blocks. My feet are wider than hip width distance apart. And just taking some time to kind of feel into the body. So squat is, again, totally optional. So we're just kind of bouncing and moving. So a few contraindications for squat: if you have any sort of hip pain, discomfort, or it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Pubic symphysis pains, or your pubic symphysis is right here where the 2 halves of the pelvis meet. Any pain there, don't do it. I'll show some modifications. If you have hemorrhoids, if you have placenta previa, also don't do it if the doctor's told you there's partial like coverage of your cervix from the placenta. Don't do this pose, all right? So we're just kind of moving and we're breathing. And so we come into center. Let's turn our hands, fingers pointing in towards each other, on top of the thighs, and we just bend the knees a little bit. And so this is a squat, right? It's not the full squat, but it is a squat. Knees are bent. We're keeping the chest lifted. We're creating some space across the back of the pelvis. And even here, let's play a little bit with that pelvic tilt. Let's hug belly in, hug baby up and in, and then lengthen. Just do that a few times. Hug baby in and lengthen. Nice. 2 more times. Hug baby and exhale. One more time. Excellent. So you can stay here if you like. You can even come into child's pose because that too is a squat, right? We're just lying down. There's no body weight pressure on the bottom of the pelvis. But if you like, you can bring forearms onto the thighs, just testing out how does squat feel right here. If this feels good, maybe you try bending the knees a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Nice. Nice use of a birthing ball too. So on the birthing ball, you can definitely like rock and move a lot, making those hip circles and figure eights. Great place to kind of birth and breathe through some of those contractions. Great place to bounce your baby too. So that's how I used my ball after my baby arrived, right? And doing some core strengthening work. So just finding a place of ease, feet on the floor, hands in front of the heart. And just keeping the chest lifted for a little bit. Maybe just closing the eyes. So squat helps to position our baby into an optimal position. It also helps to relieve like constipation and other digestive distress. And so really just creating a lot of space for that baby to get into the right position, make its way down the birth canal, and just breathing. And then when you are ready, just releasing those hands, you can just rest the forearms on top of the knees, and we'll breathe here for another minute. So if you need to move, if you need to adjust, feel free. Otherwise, just breathing, being present with your baby, with your body, with your breath. Maybe feeling your baby moving in your body and just feeling that bright light of life inside of you. And also just feeling your own bright light shining within. And these are the times when I experience deep gratitude for all of the women who are in my lineage. And just considering the sacrifices that were made on my behalf, and just feeling tremendous gratitude and a sense of deep reverence for all of my ancestors. And then when you're ready, just allowing the eyes to open if they're closed. We're going to make our way onto the floor. A few ways to get there. So if you're on a birthing ball, you can definitely just like put hands on the floor, kind of let the ball roll away, knees down. If you're up high in your squat, same thing, hands down, one knee down at a time. I'm on my block, so I'm just going to support bringing one leg back, and then bringing the other leg back, hands onto the floor, and coming onto hands and knees. So I would like to invite us to do some resting, a supportive resting position. So a couple ways you can do this. If you have wall space available to you, you can use the wall. Your birthing ball could also serve as support for this pose. So just watch me. I'm going to use the end of my sofa because I have some space there. But if this were a wall, I would want to sit kind of right in front of it. It's great to sit on something, right? So this is where I'm going to take a blanket and support my hips, support my legs and feet. And then I have my 2 blocks and I have my bolster. So it's a modified legs up against the wall, but because we're pregnant, we're not lying down flat on our backs. So I'm going to take my bolster behind me after I've rested my 2 blocks onto the mat. And the idea is that that bolster should be touching your back. So it's going to touch the back of my pelvis. I'm going to hold on to it to stabilize it and lean back like so. You can stay here. This is a totally appropriate place to be. But again, just to have that sense of an inversion, just to support any swelling that might be happening in the legs and feet, you can put your legs up against a wall or on a birthing ball or on a chair or at the edge of the sofa like I'm doing. So just give yourself a moment or two. I'm just gonna peek a little closer at the camera. Oh, that looks great. Nice. Very nice. Good. Excellent. Nice use of a sofa. And so just breathing here. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes before we come down. And the invitation is actually to stay here longer than 3 minutes if you'd like. And you can make this your final resting pose. We'll do side lying as an option, or you can recline over the bolster. So you have options. And so just breathing here. You can have the arms alongside you. You can have your hands on your belly, whatever feels good. And again, 3 minutes. But if you need to come down before 3 minutes, by all means, do so. Just listening to your body, trusting your body's wisdom. Listening to your baby. Just anchoring yourself in a deep, deep awareness of this present moment and whatever may be arising in this present moment. Surrendering anything that happened in the past, releasing any anticipation of the future. So the invitation is to stay exactly as you are, if you'd like, for another 2 to 3 minutes. But you also have the option to lie on your side, which is also a really delicious way to rest. So again, feel free to stay as you are or slowly bringing those legs in, taking your time to kind of lie on your side and peel yourself up off of your bolster. Just breathing. Nice. So I will show side lying, assuming that you're advanced in your pregnancy enough that it's like really no longer comfortable to be on your back. But if you are comfortable being on your back, totally, it's cool too. I'd recommend having like a pillow or some blankets underneath your knees, just again to kind of keep the legs up and help with that circulation. But for those who are going to rest on their side, giving yourself a moment to place that firm cushion bolster kind of off to the front of your mat. We're going to lie on our left side again to support the baby, support the heart. And if your legs are really long, you could place your blocks like at the end of your bolster to support your feet. So if you have long legs, you don't want your feet dangling in space. So that's an option for you. And so we want support for the torso. So I have a blanket that I will rest my torso on. And then I also have a blanket for my head and neck. And I want to create some height here. I want to create some height so that if I'm feeling shoulder pain or pressure or discomfort, I have a little bit of space to support my shoulder as well as to support that arm. So I create a little channel. I'm going to move so you can see. There's a little channel of space where my arm and shoulder will rest on the mat. My body will be on the blanket. My head will be on a blanket or pillow. So this is a great sleeping position to think about too. So a lot of women complain like you're on your left side so much that it just feels uncomfortable. So you can give yourself a little height for your body and then rest your head, neck and head there. So if I come to rest onto my side, I'm gonna rest my shoulder and arm right here. Can even pull that left arm way out so I have lots of space. I'm gonna rest my right leg from the knee and the lower leg and foot onto that firm couch cushion. My left leg is straight and I'm going to lose my ear pod. I know that like in the first recording, this was really awful. I didn't realize that it was going to be so crunchy, me lying on it. And then if you need to have some support for your belly, you could have a little wedge or again, take another blanket and give your belly some support so you can rest on that as well. This top arm, the right arm, can either rest on your thigh, or if you had another pillow, you could do that. Just have the arm resting on a high pillow there. But as I'm sure you are aware, or if not, you'll soon become aware that pillows are your best friend while you're pregnant. And if you choose to breastfeed your baby, or even just like feeding your baby, there's just a need for pillows and support because the baby gets very heavy when you're holding a baby and trying to feed it either with a bottle or the breast. So give yourself a moment to feel comfy in your position. And again, we're going to rest here for about 3 minutes. I'm just going to take a peek. Nice. I'm just letting it all go, right? You've worked, you've moved your body, you were breathing deeply, you took really good care of yourself and your baby, and now you rest. Now you rest. So before you jump into the fullness of your day, whatever it may hold, just taking these last few minutes for yourself for relaxation. I'll sound the chime to gently bring yourselves back. But until then, just really let go. surrender, release. Allow your body to breathe itself, inviting a greater sense of softness in the body, surrender into the body. Begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Maybe open the mouth and you can yawn or move the jaw from side to side. And so if you're on your back, you could roll to your left side. If you're on your left side, beginning to press that right hand down, pressing that left hand down to slowly peel yourselves up to sit upright, to find a comfortable seat. And maybe sitting on a blanket, sitting on a cushion. As we prepare to close our class in these last final minutes. And just feeling into your body. You can bring a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart. And again, just connecting to your own vital life force and the life that you are supporting inside of you. And in this moment, maybe offering words of support and encouragement to yourself. Perhaps a sweet message for the life inside of you, offering a few words of intention or affirmation to your baby. And offering those same sweet words The same kind words to yourself. And then just gently moving the hands from the body, just out to the sky, so just away from the body and opening the palms skyward. And this is where we make our request. That request for support, maybe guidance, whatever you need, just realizing that it is there for the asking. And thinking back to the women in your lineage, and thinking of their characteristics of strength and vulnerability, of power, wisdom. And perhaps these are qualities that you would like to invoke within yourself. And the truth is that they are already there within you. Just by virtue of these women, your ancestors, they've given it all to you, all to me, all to us for a time such as this. And then gently joining the hands together in front of the heart, we seal it all in. The goodness, the beauty, the light, the truth, the wisdom. We bring it all in to the heart. Bowing the head, chin to chest. Lifting the hands to touch the center of the forehead. Namaste.